Hello everybody, we're going to be talking about a kind of recent storyline today, and that is about the Minnesota Wild and their struggles early on in the season. Now before we start, please make sure to subscribe to the channel if you are new or if you're interested in hockey, whatever the case may be. I'm hoping to do this as a full-time career and would love to have you here along the way. Anyway, let's talk about the Wild. Minnesota started off the year, 2 games played, 0 wins, 0 points. Not the way you want to start it, especially because the talking point of this team so far has been the fact that they have allowed 14 goals in 2 games, 7-2 the New York Rangers, 7-2 the Los Angeles Kings. Is this all on Marc-Andre Fleury, and is he deserving of the booze? I'm going to tell you right now, no player is deserving of booze unless they do something crazy dramatic. If they're playing poorly, grow up. At the end of the day, these guys are human beings. They are going to have highs and lows. It's early in the season, especially for the people that like to freak out. Going to freak out this early on? I don't know. That's just my opinion there. And I mean, it's Marc-Andre Fleury here. We're not going to go down that road. But anyway, Fleury, has he been bad this year? Of course he's been bad this year. Through 2 games, he has allowed 11 goals, and that has come with a save percentage through those 2 games. Let's see what the math says here. .776 save percentage, 38 saves on 49 shots against, so that is rough. Will he be with the team by the end of the year? Probably, unless something goes wrong, but I will say at this point that he will probably be the backup. You look at his game against the Rangers, 35 shots against, 7 goals allowed, and then against the Kings, 14 shots against, 4 goals allowed. As of right now, he has the worst goal saved above average in the league with a total of -4.85, meaning that an average goalie would give up about 5 less goals than Flower through 2 games. That is crazy, especially because early on you look at this and you think 5 goals, 2 games in, 5 goals, somebody would allow less than him if they were an average goalie. It's not exactly all on him. I will say that through this time, they have averaged the 2nd most time on the PK in the league. And on top of that, they have given up, I think it's let's see here. I think it's in the top 10 for most shots against per 60. Now, I will say the problem here on top of that, though, is that it still is primarily on Fleury. You look at their expected goals total against, it is much lower than what he has given up. Of course it is, and early on you know that this could be an issue for the team. Flower is an experienced goalie, but at the same time, he's a guy that's had a lot of highs and lows in his career, whether you like to admit it or not. If you're a big Marc-Andre Fleury fan, totally get why you would want to support him and say, you know, that's not been the case. But yeah, he has had some high seasons and some low seasons. He's had high points and low points in a year. It just happens, especially for a goalie. It's so normal to see a goalie be really good and then, you know, really struggle. But here we are, it's early. Can he recover? Absolutely. Minnesota is a very good team for the past few seasons. They have been defensively. Who's to say that they won't figure things out going forward? As of right now, though, I will say the Wild are going to have to go with Gustafsson for themselves as the starter. I already said in my season preview that I looked at him to be their 1B guy, as Flower has some age on him, and I thought if he could fill in for them or for Mark, that they would probably be all right. But you also have to consider he is kind of unproven, had time with the Sens, didn't put up the best stats, but argumentatively, who would really put up great stats with Ottawa unless they were a top-tier goalie? The Wild, though, they do have to figure things out soon, because 10 games in, you'd hate to say, well, you know, we've got 72 games left, boys, it's no big deal. I will say at a certain point it does become an issue, because the deeper you dig yourself a hole, the farther you have to climb out, and you got to think. Colorado, they are clinching a playoff spot, so that leaves 2 other spots in the Division 4 postseason trip guaranteed. St. Louis, they're hungry. Dallas, they're hungry. Winnipeg, they're hungry. You know what I mean? Like, Minnesota is a good team, in my opinion, and I did have them as a playoff team. But with other teams like Nashville breathing down their neck, things like that, you cannot just say it's no big deal. Gustafsson did allow 3 goals on 20 shots, I believe, against the Kings. But going forward, if this team can gel and figure some things out, they're going to be all right. I believe, I do think. But for now, I have to say, is Marc-Andre Fleury done with his career, or is he going to regress and be done after the season? I don't know. He's got some age on him. I do think he could be a guy that if he really struggled, he would say, you know what, I'm not helping the team, I'm going to leave. And then they would figure out what they're going to do in net. Of course, they have some goalie prospects that they're interested in, but are they ready to call up the top goalie prospect or the one that people are really intrigued in? I don't think so just yet because you want to develop goalies, but I want to hear your take early on this season. Are the Wild going to struggle? Should Fleury be the starter? Should he be the backup? Will Gustafsson be able to fill in as that starter and be able to provide that consistency in net? Because I don't care who you are, unless you are the 80s Oilers or something like that. If you're allowing 7 goals per game, you're probably not winning many games. Will it hold? Of course not. In the modern era especially, there is no way this team, specifically the Minnesota Wild, will average 7 goals against per game. We all know that. Let's not kid ourselves here. 80 games left. Minnesota fans, hold your head up high. There is still plenty of hockey left to play. Trust me, I'm a Canucks fan, and we just blew 2 leads to the Oilers and the Flyers. It happens. Anyway, leave your thoughts down below. Everybody, also, please make sure to like this video if you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you're new. Stay safe. Have a great night, and you go have hockey all right. Goodbye, Brigadiers and Brigadettes. This is your captain signing off. Have a great night.